If you're watching this, I hopefully just finished crossing Germany by foot over 640 kilometers using this setup. For me, I will be departing tomorrow. I'm going to show you my equipment and tell you everything I know about ultralight through hiking. The first part is going to be this. The second part is going to be me from the future telling you what did and didn't work. Everything is timestamped and I will put links for Amazon affiliates. So let's go. Okay, I'm weighing 85.2. So with the backpack, that's almost exactly 4 kilos. Not bad, I think. That's the net weight without food and without the streaming equipment. Let's start with the sleep system. I'm using a hammock and tarp system. So I've chosen to use the Amazonas line, which make really affordable and ultralight products. I've picked up the ultralight hammock, which only weighs 180 grams. With that, I'm using the adventure tarp, also from Amazonas, as well as the adventure rope system, I think it's called. I'm also using a Jolma Lander top quilt. This is a Chinese brand, which weighs, I think, 800 grams. I'm using the large version because I'm a long dude. And I basically picked it because it was the only affordable option which was also light. Because either you could find affordable but too heavy, or very much not affordable but light. So that's what we're going with. It's supposed to be good, but I've never tested it before. And the reason you want to be using a top quilt is it's basically like a sleeping bag, but you're losing weight. And when you're on a hammock especially, it's a lot more comfortable. It's easier to do heat regulation and it's easier to get in and out of. Last but not least, the Cocoon underquilt. This is, in my opinion, the superior version to like a mattress that you can put underneath the hammock. Because all the advice that I've heard is it's simply not really practical. The mattress is going to fall out even if you have a bespoke layer for it. It's just not going to be as reliable as the underquilt, and it's also not going to be as warm. Warm is not really the problem in the summer in Germany, but I simply wanted a system that I could rely on because sleep is very important. So then we move on to the mosquito net. This just simply goes over your head, and I think that should be more than enough. I think when people are starting out, they tend to be very concerned about mosquitoes, which I was as well. Last trip I bought this thinking I couldn't survive under a tarp without it. Turns out I haven't used it once that trip, but it weighs almost nothing, so why not bring it with you? And if you're not going to use it for anything else, you can put something in there, make a pillow out of it. Bob's your uncle. So now let's move on to clothing. So these are the Jack Wolfskin trekking boots, which I've got for cheap. I can't really recommend them for a summer through hike though. I want to switch over to trail runners, which is what all the pros are using. And the reason is they're simply lighter, they ventilate better. These are waterproof, but if it's going to rain very strongly, water is going to get in simply from the top. So in that case, you really want the trail runners because they're going to dry much quicker. And with these, you can't really get into water. With the trail runners, you could even potentially go through a lake or a river that is walkable and just let it dry off in the summer heat. So yeah, it's just more weight and more heat. Yeah, what I'm going to be testing out for the first time ever is a cap. I've never used one before. I'm not really the guy who likes caps, but I'm trying it for additional sun protection. Some protection for your face, but mainly for the head because it's starting to thin a little bit around here. I could use sunscreen, but it's kind of gross to put it up here. The other reason is I'm filming this whole thing, and as I'm wearing right now, I'm trying to hide my greasy hair. So when you're through hiking, that may also be a very wise reason to give this one a go. Continuing with these simply very lightweight pants that I used already. Nothing really special about them. They aren't really waterproof, but they are kind of water repellent. But yeah, these are going to get wet, but they're going to dry easily. So no biggie. The rain jacket, nothing special there as well. This is the fleece I'm using. I wish it would also have a hood, but it's fine as it is. And this is just super, super lightweight, but keeps you warm, protects you from the wind. Really like this. And this may be the GOAT, the greatest of all time. It's simply a neck gaiter merino wool. And this one I'm using all the time. The obvious one is obviously a scarf. You can use it as a headgear. And what I also like to use it for is as a sleeping mask if you want to sleep a little bit longer when it's already getting light. Super cool. Next we have the fleece beanie. Again, very lightweight and doesn't hurt. If you need it, you're going to be glad to have it, so pack it in. The backpack, pretty basic stuff, just a 40-liter cheap one from Amazon. There are probably going to be better options out there that are going to cost you more. I've had decent experience with this. A more expensive backpack may be a little more pleasant on your back, but I can't really complain. I like this one, and I really like the color. So that's what's really most important when it comes to through hiking. I'm kidding. One important detail I forgot to mention is that this backpack has a pocket for a rain cover. So you want this to protect yourself from the rain, or you can use a pack liner if you want to be more fancy. For streaming, I have used this always, and it seemed to work well for streaming. We have here a sort of long sleeve thermo shirt, which is really useful for the early mornings or the evenings to wear. It's also just a replacement for this in case this is wet. I've washed it. And this I replaced last trip because I used to use a synthetic shirt, and the problem was really it was getting way too warm. I was sweating profusely. And this one is supposed to be this super breathable fabric, and a lot of people use merino wool, which may be better. I haven't tested it for a sort of base layer, but when I switched to this, I was very, very happy, and it definitely kept me cool. So then we have, speaking of merino wool, we have two boxer shorts from merino wool. This is Icebreaker, simply a brand that seemed to be good, that I found and wasn't too expensive. I also switched to these. This is the first time that I'm using this, from synthetic underwear because, again, same problem. I was sweating way too much. These are trekking socks. They are made from a fabric mix which is called Cool Max, which is supposed to be extra breathable, extra good for warm weather. And I can't really confirm that because I was sweating a lot. Granted, I was also wearing the boots, but yeah, I may also have to switch to merino wool socks. We'll see, I don't know. And this is simply a microfiber towel, small towel. You can go even smaller than this. This is sort of a luxury size, I think. But the weight difference is not that great. Now we're moving on to the water. So I'm simply packing 2 water bottles and the water filter. This should be more than enough in Germany because I'm planning to pretty much every day going to pass through a city, so there's going to be enough water. There are going to be plenty of rivers, but it doesn't hurt to bring 2 bottles just in case. Plus, it's summer, so you want to drink too much, not too little. This is the Soya Squeeze Micro, I think it's called. Yes, pretty happy with this. Very lightweight. This is the adapter, so you can back filter it, which you need to do every now and then, or else it will clog up, and we don't want that, because if it clogs up too bad, this is basically useless, or it gets very, very difficult to filter water. And you can simply screw this on here and filter right into this bottle, or straight into your mouth if you want to. But since I have 2 bottles, it's nicer to drink from a bottle. So moving on, we have the Vaseline. Also a new addition, which I'm trying for the first time. This was recommended to me by many people, and apparently this is what ultra marathon runners do, which is to put Vaseline on their feet. My plan is to do this twice a day, and it's going to be gross in the socks, but apparently it should prevent any blisters. So that's my plan. This is against ticks and mosquitoes, and believe it or not, I bought this when Germany still had the Deutsche Mark. So this was before the euro was our currency, became our currency, but it still works. So shout out to this brand. Apparently it's pretty good. Just some normal sunscreen, 50 protection level. Very important, but nothing more to say about that. Then you may see here lots of tissues. I have problem with a constantly running nose. You will probably need not that much, but here we go. This is just a personal issue. What's it called? I ride my teeth. And these are protection against chirping birds, which can very well be a problem when you want to sleep a little bit longer. This is a super lightweight headlamp, or not very. Yeah, you can sort of clip it on your head and turn it into a headlamp. But yeah, just a very simple torch. 11 grams, I think Aurora is the brand, maybe. I put it down in the description. Basic, very small Swiss Army knife. And this is pretty much all you need. The most important thing here is really the scissors, which is what you're mainly going to use. This is just fish oil pills, which I take and enjoy. It's not going to last me the whole trip, but it's better than nothing. Some sunglasses, and this is the king. If you don't have this for hiking, I strongly urge you to get this, because this is simply so handy to have this here, to not have to constantly get to your backpack. It's just always accessible. And this here is for mosquitoes. Let me get this off. You can download an app, it's called Heated. Plug this into your smartphone and then it heats up and you can burn the poison. And if you do it enough, it will no longer be itchy. And I can no longer live without this. This is very, very useful. This is my hiker wallet. It's just 150 euros and my cards with a rubber band around it. And you want to bring cash if you're going through Germany, especially if you're going through smaller towns, because a lot of the restaurants there will only take cash to do tax evasion, allegedly. So yeah, you want to bring enough, but 150 should be enough, because I'm mostly buying from grocery stores and I will use my card for that. I'm also bringing lots of zipper bags, and I'll get to that later. Just a plastic bag for your trash. Here we have some USB-C headphones, which I really only bought for the train to the location and back home, because it's simply going to be very boring for this, I don't know, 8-hour ride or something, if you can't listen to something. These are simply less weight and they don't need to be charged compared to Bluetooth headphones. So I recommend them if you want to use them even while you're hiking, but I'm not going to. This is a bio-friendly, degradable soap and shampoo. I was contemplating not getting this, but I figured if I'm on camera, I probably need some shampoo to use this when I'm in a river, or I can also use this when I'm on a toilet, in some restaurant, etc. And like I said, it is degradable, so you probably want to do it outside the river, but it's okay to sink into the earth. Then we have some toilet paper when you're on the go and need to do a do's. Fill this up at every chance you get at a restaurant to fill it back up. This is sort of my first aid slash toothbrush and toothpaste. And yeah, there's not much here. It's band-aids, some ibuprofen and gauze tape, I think this is called. And it's not very much. I know a lot of people have a lot more extensive first aid kits, but I'm simply not that far away from civilization through this hike. It's never that far away, so in case of an emergency, I don't really need to take extensive measures. So I think for this case, it should be fine. Final section is the food. We're starting with the food bag. This is sort of overkill in Germany. The idea is that you pack your food in here, so when you're sleeping, you can hang it somewhere on a branch far away from your camp, so you then don't get eaten by a bear while you're sleeping. But in Germany, we don't have bears. If you're in a hammock, you're protected against most things already. But just to be sure, I'm bringing this, and yeah, this isn't waterproof, obviously, but your food should be waterproof anyway. So it's no big deal, and just hang it off into a branch far away, and you're good to go. This is a mesh nylon, which is very light. That's why I got this. You may have seen this before if you are a frequent viewer of this channel. This is for cold soaking. I will link a video with great info by Jupiter Hikes about this topic. But the quick and short of it is you put your cold soak material in here, put some water in here, wait, and then you can eat it. All sorts of things, oatmeal, ramen, etc. But here I have the couscous mix, which I've already tried once before, but this is the improved version, the deluxe version, with some dried tomato added into it, some chili powder, raisins, and sunflower seeds. And this is my food. I've got some ready-made meals, which I can also cold soak. This is the bomb. This is the trail mix, salty, super tasty. This will go into a zipper bag and will find its place in my fanny pack for easy access. Here we have more salami, bunch of cereal bars, some, I don't know what the English word for is, but like a beefy, like a salami in bread. Some dried mango, dried pineapple, and here we have the peanut butter. So the problem is in Germany, you don't get peanut butter in a plastic bottle. So I'm bringing this instead. So if this gets empty, I can buy a new peanut bottle and fill it back up using the spoon that I have here. I'm now moving on to the IRL streaming equipment. So if you don't care about this, you can skip to the next part. So this is the iPhone 15 Pro, which I'm using. I've got this wind guard here that I've attached to the phone's front microphone. I've also have a case that protects here, but my apps currently doesn't use these, so only this one. I'm using a clamp attached to the Ulanzi quick release mount, so I can push this and remove this quickly. And I'm using a ball head attachment to an Insta360 selfie stick. On the backpack I have a strap mount which has the same quick release mount, which I can put the phone into quickly if I want to go for a chest mounted situation. Okay, here we have the chat phone and the mobile router. This gets attached to the selfie stick. It's simply a bike mount and works very well for chat phone. This is simply a screw for the attachments quick release. And these are plugs for the USB-C ports in case it's raining. Just some charging cable for the modem. This is for the Apple Watch Ultra, which I newly got to handle all the navigation. And it also has a feature to be used with the Moblin app for iOS. I can check the chat as well as the stream preview. So that's very handy. These are really the heart of this whole expedition, because here we have the GAN Prime something anchor charger. This charges up to 120, which is the maximum in the EU which you can get. And with this cable, which is 140 watts cable, I can charge these two as quickly as possible, because these are very bulky and weighty, but they have the power of 140 watts, so they can be charged very quickly, which is very important for me because I don't want to spend too much time in town sitting in a cafe waiting for these to charge. I have two, so I can charge one while I'm using the other one, and the plan is to last me at least 1.5 days, maybe even longer, we'll see. I've got this SSD 2 terabyte for the recordings, which is hopefully going to be enough to last me for the trip. If not, I will have to use some sort of cloud storage as backup, and simply 2 USB-C anchor cables. No replacement really, because these are new and I can survive with just one of these and then order one to a town's pack station to pick up. So I think that should be fine. So on to the trouble child. I've been contemplating about whether or not to bring this with me, because it's not really essential in my opinion. I've streamed without a speaker before and it's okay, but yeah, I think I will get this and bring it with me. All right, the moment of truth. Yeah, like 8 kilos lost. All right, future Nick here. Let's check out what did and did not work. Starting out with the sleep system once again. Super happy with it. No complaints, it kept me warm, it was ultralight, packed down, fairly small. The only thing is the top did get a little puncture, really not the fault of the top. There were a lot of brambles in one location. I did try my best, but one of them got its claws in the top, but easily fixed with duct tape, which we will get to later. Yeah, one more thing. Drip lines. I did forget to pack the drip lines, and let me just say, drip lines are important, okay? They prevent the water from sliding down into the hammock. This should not be brown, okay? This was very, very close to being forgotten several times. So that will be one thing to change. Maybe find a different color, or I don't know, tie something around it, I don't know. But just brown, terrible idea. Okay, the backpack, really happy with it. I said this was a very cheap, 55 euro Chinese brand from Amazon, and super happy with it. It was easy enough on my backpack. It weighed around like 10, 11 kilograms completely with all the gear and streaming equipment and food, etc. Yeah, quite enjoy all the different compartments you have. You can organize your stuff, especially with the streaming gear. It's very nice. I used to put all the streaming gear here, all the medical and sort of utility stuff here, and then it's mostly have the clothing and the sleeping system in here. All right. Now we really do need to talk about these two here, because really these two were the hero of the adventure, and I couldn't have gotten as far as I did without these. As you can see, they're looking pretty rough right now, but you have to imagine sometimes stones get under your feet and they do mess up this top layer of fabric. But overall, immensely satisfied with these. Super happy. Can totally recommend hiking sandals for people who are looking to do a through hike. The only thing, as I just said, stones can get under your feet, and that's a little annoying, but it's not a deal breaker. And they are super lightweight, they don't slow you down, they're very nice in terms of blister potential. I did have some, but well, if you watch the video, maybe you know why I did have blisters despite wearing these. But really way better than the hiking boots. And the hiking boots are no longer here, okay? They were purged, they were punished because they were terrible. Now, I've had other people in chat talking about hiking boots that are great and that are good at, you know, moisture wicking and stuff like that. So maybe if you can find something very expensive that could work for you. I am going to try barefoot shoes, which is what another thru hiker was using. And I'm very excited about that. But for now, these were great. Moving on to clothes. The pants, very happy with them. They did start slightly to tear at the crotch area, but I am gonna stitch these down and use them again. Very cheap as well, Chinese brand on Amazon. And I just love them because they're so lightweight. I did start near the half of the trip to always wear the pants in the socks to give you additional protection from ticks. And I would hardly recommend it, even if it's a little warm. Then we have the synthetic blend t-shirt, which is supposed to not make you sweat at all. And I'm pretty happy with it. I'm really happy with it. I would use it again. There was a bit of hot temperature and sweat in the early days, so it did get a little icky. This fabric got a little sticky, but I did clean it and I didn't have any issues afterwards. But I am gonna try the merino wool standard, give that one a try as well. But super happy with it nonetheless. Really kept me cool in the hotter days. This one is like an extra layer long sleeve t-shirt, and really happy with it. Supposed to keep me warm, and it did. But maybe you can see one issue. Yeah, don't use white, okay? Don't get a white t-shirt. So I am gonna buy another one in black, but it's gonna be a little bit of a different one, because whenever I could, because most of the time it wasn't that cold, I just used this and this instead of this on the later days, because this is more flexible. I have a zipper. I can open it up if it's too warm. If it's cold, I can close it back down. And I absolutely love this jacket. It's super lightweight, packs down really small. It did get very dirty, but that's normal. That's just par for the course. rarely use this beanie because it wasn't that cold, but I would still take it with me every time because it's super small, super light. Why wouldn't you? And if you need it, and there were a few times when I needed it, it's a lifesaver. So still some slug slime on this rain jacket. Nothing much to say about this one other than rain jackets are not perfect because you get a lot of condensation, especially like on the back area. After some heavy rain, I pretty much immediately start to feel the wetness building up on the back. And I don't think it's that this isn't waterproof anymore because it's a fairly new jacket still. It's like 3 years old. But it's just the nature of having a rain jacket. So a rain poncho may be better, but it doesn't really work when you're trying to stream and you need your arms free. I don't think that's gonna work well. So I think I'm still gonna stick to a rain jacket like this. The towel is really the one object that I've always been thinking about cutting throughout the trip because I used it so rarely, but I don't know really what to replace it with. You could, of course, use a t-shirt as a replacement and then just dry the t-shirt afterwards. But if you need the t-shirt to keep you warm, it's not really a good option. So I used it very rarely, but when I used it, it was nice. So I feel like this is a bit of a luxury item, but I don't wanna like completely, what's the word? I'm German. Bear with me, what's the word? I don't wanna completely give it up, I think. And then of course, the cap, named the paper cap, and so happy I took this with me. It became like the emblem of the stream and it's just super, super useful. I did have sunglasses which broke along the way because the pocket was just too filled, there was too much pressure on it, but it's not a big deal. But I didn't need the sunglasses at all because I have this. This is protecting me from the sun. It rarely was super bright. There wasn't any reflective surfaces. So yeah, super great. Protects my head, protects my face from a lot of the sun rays. And yeah, looks good. Underwear, merino wool, awesome. No complaints. You see we have some new socks, so you can already imagine something. Now these are called Cool Max. They're supposed to keep your feet from sweating and they did the exact opposite. Now it could be because of the hiking boots. So maybe with the hiking sandals, these would have actually worked fine, I'm not sure. But the problem is, once these get wet, it takes forever for them to dry. So that's why I replaced them with some synthetic blend, cheap discounter socks. And really no complaints there. And they dry a lot more quickly. So yeah. One more quick tip. Pack your wet and clean clothes and put them with you in the hammock so that your body heat can dry them overnight. I did that almost every night with the socks mostly, and yeah, it works wonders. Awesome. The fanny pack, also very useful. Didn't use it that much, but it's just a no-brainer really. I don't know why you wouldn't want to have this. It's just an extra pocket, no extra weight on your back, easy access. Yeah, lifesaver, small torch, extremely useful. So many ticks removed using the pincers. Tick spray, bug spray, also very useful. Expired like 13 years ago, but still works. You can see the soap is completely empty. I was talking about whether or not I should bring this. Yeah, it's a no-brainer. Like, bring this. This is so awesome. Being able to wash your hair, being able to wash your clothes. You can, of course, also do it using the soap in a restaurant or cafe if you have the balls to be like washing your hair or socks on the toilet, which I've done. But you want to have this as a backup, for sure. So, the water cleaner. If you've watched the series, you will probably know what I have to say about this. It sucks, okay? It broke. Yeah, the filter is busted. I don't know if you can fix it, but I don't think I will fix it because it's too unreliable. It sucks. It's the Sawyer Micro. A lot of people have said that the Sawyer Mini is actually more reliable. So that's what I'm probably gonna give another try if I cannot completely forego using a filter, because near the end of the trip, it was just water. We were just getting tap water. You do have to ask around a lot. But we met another thruhiker who wasn't using a filter. He was just, relying on tap water or 100% safe sources of water. The hiker wallet that I had also ripped apart. So I'm still a fan of it, but I would probably not put the change with everything else. Keep the change separate in your pocket and it probably won't rip. But on longer trips, you want to get a replacement or pack a replacement. But yeah. Awesome. Maybe don't get the cheap AliExpress version of these because they're not that reliable, but it still kind of worked. In terms of food, peanut butter, awesome. Cold soaking, love it. Maybe not do the couscous curry again. Not really a fan of that one. We ate a lot of ramen, instant ramen on the trip, which was nice. The wraps were also awesome. Bananas, buy a lot of bananas. Chocolate is very messy, especially when it melts. But it is tasty, it is nice. And tray mix. Yes, lifesaver when you need it. Did not need this a lot, but you want to take it with you. Really needed the earplugs a hell of a lot and highly recommend it. Almost forgot the duct tape. Duct tape, super vital. Like you saw, it fixed the hole in the tarp. It is essential for IRL streaming because you need it to tape up the USB-C ports to keep the rain from coming in. And it's lightweight. You can use it for all sorts of things. I used it as packaging tape. I tried to save this shitty filter with it, but it didn't work. Yeah, super versatile. You need this. Now the first aid kit. Now I did buy some Luku tape eventually, and this in combination with gauze tape, as well as these Compete blister pads were just the perfect thing to treat wounds, blisters, any foot-related troubles were solved through a combination of these three things. Last but not least, the streaming gear. This did not really work amazingly at keeping the phone stable, but I don't know. I don't have a great alternative. I know there is one on Amazon that is specifically made for phones. As you can see, we now have two of these because I bought one additionally, because that way I could charge a lot more quickly these two power banks. So I do recommend getting two of these, preferably 140 watts chargers. This is a 120, but it is very, very good and reliable. This one overheats a little bit, I think, and it then gets slower, but it's 140 watts and I got it on the cheap, so I'm happy with it. Did have some problems with this cable, but I don't think it was actually the fault of this cable. I did buy two replacements, but I do like the Anker ones better because they are thinner, they are more flexible, they are a little bit shorter, but it's long enough, I think. I did buy this cable because transfer on the SSD from the iPhone took forever. Now, with this cable, it's faster, but it still takes quite a while and it drains a lot of battery. But I don't think there's like a good alternative. You just gotta use this. This is a Thunderbolt USB 4.0 cable. and it's as fast as it's gonna get. I think iPhone only goes up to 3.1 USB anyway. But it still took quite a while and a lot of battery. But you gotta do it. You gotta do it. But just keep that in mind. Really happy with the power banks. One of them broke down and I did have to get a replacement. But still very, very happy. It may have been my fault. I don't know. I'm not quite sure. I tried to be very cautious and careful with rain and everything, but who knows? I cannot be certain. But afterwards, like no issues other than that, and very happy with these. They charge very quickly, and that's why I got them. This one I did send back because it was just giving me issues with the iPhone, lost connection, and maybe even worse, this thing drained the batteries overnight like crazy. It seems like it never stops charging because it was draining way more than it should. Like I would wake up and these were like at 0 or at 12%. And yeah, that shouldn't be. So given those two issues, I did send it back and I switched to the Android hotspot. We'll get a better phone in the future that also can do 5G, but other than that, very happy. Did not bring the JBL speaker because just too much stuff to pack, extra battery charge. Very happy that I did not bring this one. It was good enough from the phone, especially when I get a newer phone. It's gonna sound good enough on a trip like this. All right, that's it. Hopefully that was interesting and helpful to some of you, and I see you on the next adventure.